What's up, crew? Welcome to another video, and if you're not a part of the crew yet, my name is John Connie, aka Bigmansyndrome, and today I'm getting ready to head up to Downieville. It's this quaint little town. It's right down the way from Lake Tahoe, and it's really just this spot that a lot of people, mountain biking enthusiasts, kind of come together and go for a nice ride. And this one specifically is the 11th annual Downieville trip for a group of friends that I am a part of. So super excited, and obviously I'm going up there for mountain biking, but I'm also up there to get some tasty clips for you guys to check out. Before I finalize packing to get going and get up there, I do need to get a few things done so that the garage isn't so much in disarray when I get back. As you can see, I've got some of the drywall put up, and my office area is starting to look a little bit better so far. What I need to do before I go pick up the extension for the bike rack, I need to finish off this drywall so that I no longer have it on the ground there, because that don't look good. So let's pop up a tasty time lapse. Running into same problem every single time I cut something. So the ground of this garage is so beat up from that giant tree out there. I think the roots grew under the foundation and has pumped up the concrete. There's a lot of cracks. Over there measures 83 inches. Over here clearly is just like an inch off. Obviously that's just my mistake for not taking the time to measure every single stud. Disregard that. First of all, I'm not a professional. Second of all, I don't really care for this side because it's going to be just like background of the office and I can plaster the hell out of that. This side I want to be as clean as possible with only a few seams, as that's going to be like the studio space. I'm going to paint it most likely white, maybe black, maybe a neutral tone, because that's where I'm going to have like sit downs with like infinity space. Whatever, pretty much done with that. I'm probably going to cut these two more here, or at least move them over to the other side so that there's a walking space here rather than me walking on drywall, which is not the best idea. I'm gonna go ahead and go pick up that rack extension. So let's get that done. All right, heading over to a friend's house who's actually going to Downieville as well. He's actually heading up after us, is going to be heading up with another friend who has a double bike rack, and we need a triple bike rack, and the one that I have is a single, but it is a one-up, and he also has the same one. And the cool thing about the one-up is it's modular, so I have a single rack right now, but I also have the extension in my garage, and then he has an extension too, which allows us to put 3 bikes on a single rack. Heading over there to pick that up, and then while trying to switch my pedals on my bike, I put the wrong side on the wrong arm, so I cross-threaded or stripped it. So then I'm gonna head to a bike shop and get a chain because my chain is super old, probably grab some extra brake pads, and then I'm gonna ask them if they can chase the threads, which is basically just sticking a certain type of tool through that thread and basically realigning them. And if they don't have that, then my friend said that Lowe's should have the tools I need to do that. And then I'm gonna see if I can chase some threads. Because if not, hopefully before we leave at 7 p.m. tonight, I have a new left arm coming in. And it's very cheap and scares me as a 290-pound man to stand on a $24 piece of metal hooked to my bike. Man, it's hot over here. I am sweating. I don't know if you can see that. That's basically what's going on. For the rest of today's video, what I wanted to do was show you guys what I'm taking with me as a video guy, as a YouTuber, and then as a fun something. So all the things that I'm taking, I'm gonna quickly go through it. So that's kind of the idea of today's videos. What is the gear that I use for shooting on a trip and for mountain biking? So yeah, let's get a rack and chase some threads. Successful errands prior to finalizing the packing. And like I said, for this video, I want to just dive into all of the gear that I'm taking with me to Downieville, which includes video, mountain biking, and personal, which there isn't much personal, but I figured I'd start with the video stuff since that's semi-relevant. Sometimes it seems like you guys aren't really too into the gear stuff, but I at least wanted to show you what I'm taking with me to try to capture as much as the goodness that is Downieville as possible. So let's jump into that bag. Alright guys, here is my gear backpack. This is an N case. I forget what model it is, but it has the opening back, which is super convenient when you're on the road. We've got this empty space is of course for the main camera that I'm holding, which is an A7R3 with a 16 to 35 millimeter 2.8 f-stop for those of you who care. Lens cleaning wipe to keep that footage looking nice. And then of course right next to the main camera we have the secondary camera, which I will probably be using more often than this. I'm going to try to capture the awesome sexy footage that you might see like on a Peter McKinnon type video. And then this is going to be like on trail, so I'm not carrying in my backpack a very expensive setup. But if I do decide to take like a slightly expensive like this lens, I have this bag with me, which is going to go inside of my riding backpack. Not sure I'm going to ever do that, but we will see, because this is a great lens. But that is a 50 millimeter and good for outdoors. But anyways, moving on. Right underneath that we have the grip. This is to the A7R3, has 2 batteries in it, which extends the life a ton. This is a light that I actually need to charge, but it gets pretty bright, which is pretty cool. Great for outdoors. Of course, got the GoPro for mounting on the bike, and then I do have a chesty mount inside the backpack, and I have the handlebar mount here, and then I've got one more sticky mount that I'll probably put on the helmet. Even though I'm not a great rider, I probably won't use it that much. We've got cards in here. Really don't know if I'll ever need them because I have such a giant card in there. We've got the Zoom recorder just in case I want to sit down with one of the guys and do a podcast, an NSFW podcast, because they've been doing this 11 years. Got the mics, just 2 of them. Might actually need to grab one more, which is in that big case. And then we've got a 50 millimeter lens, Canon. This is the Nifty 50. I still have it, still use it. This is for those artistic shots because it is a 1.8 f-stop. Break that out if I want to get that sweet bokeh. And then of course, just to have range, we've got the 24 to 70, and on that 50 is the Metabones. I think it's just a Metabone Cinna. I don't think it has a mark to it. But 24 to 70 just in case we need it. And then a slider, probably won't be using that because it's very, very specific in the shots that it gets, and it's hard to set up without the proper weights and tripod. Speaking of tripods, I've got my Zhang Crane mono to tripod. It sort of has like the feet so it can stand on its own. And then of course the rest of the bag is filled up with sort of accessories that I'm not going to go through, but things that I kind of need on the road. But that's what's in the bag. And of course, coming from the desk, we'll be bringing my 15-inch MacBook, and then the 1 terabyte hard drive for transferring footage as needed. And then of course you always need a mouse. Always. Cannot edit video without a mouse. Trust me. Trackpad, for me at least, just does not work. I think that's everything from the desk that I'll probably be bringing. There's nothing else special that I would probably grab. And then of course Mavic Air for getting those sweet aerial shots. Hopefully it'll be set up appropriately for those shots. Haven't been having the best luck with that. I think that's everything for camera gear. Of course I have a Rode mic on top, which is the little micro, which is just easy. It doesn't require batteries, doesn't require to be turned on, but it's good. So moving on to that personal gear. Alright, so let's talk about the personal stuff, other than the bag of clothes, because obviously we don't want to be naked in Downieville. At least, I don't think so. I'm going to pack my Evo rope because it's super, super easy to travel with and super easy to make either just a quick EMOM of double unders or even a couplet of double unders and something else, or even a triplet. So I'm going to grab that jump rope, and then there's only one other thing I want to talk about because it is my thing going to Downieville. I really don't know if the other guys like him, and I'd like to introduce you to someone. At least introduce the newer people, because if you've been around on this vlog for a while, you may have actually met him before. But yeah, so yeah, anyways. Hello, my name is Bradley Alexander Prescott III, and let me tell you a little story. There once was a man named John Connie who became interested in mountain biking, and upon searching for the right bicycle, scouring far and wide on the interwebs, he was unsuccessful. And then the gym owner at the time that he was coaching had a friend who owned a bike shop and was selling his extra large bike because that was the bike that big old John needed. So he checked it out, and at first he did not like it. But after riding it a little bit, he enjoyed it and realized as a big person he needed this bike. And then he showed his friend Cullen, who said, "Wow, that is a great looking penny farthing." John said, "What is a penny farthing?" And after a little bit of research on where's my accent going? I don't know. But after a little research on the internet, he learned that the penny farthing is the bike with a large wheel in the front and a tiny wheel in the back. So John called his bike the penny farthing after that, and became proudly Alexander Prescott III. Let's talk about the mountain biking gear, huh? So, further explanation on that. Basically, that was the story. Like, I was interested in mountain biking, so I bought a bike. And after a couple of rides, my friend was like, "That's a penny farthing." When you see it, you'll probably understand. But for those of you who aren't in the mountain biking world, you may not understand it. Instead of explaining and pointing and walking through all the different stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and lay it out and get some epic B-roll for it. So, enjoy.
Oh, son of a...
I mean, leave it to me to forget something. Like I said, it's a modular bike rack. So I have the single and the extension, and then that's Andy's extension, which when I went to pick it up, forgot that you need bolts, and those are typically left on the rack itself, so that when you do go put the extension on, they're there the whole time. So I forgot to take those off. On the way back from a doc appointment we have for Dylan, it's her 2-year-old checkup, I'll pick up those bolts, put them on, and then I'll finish up packing. So I'm going to save you the boring footage of me putting clothes inside of a luggage, but that's pretty much all I have left to do. And then to close this out, we'll have a little bit of B-roll of the car, the Euro van, getting up to Downieville. So I'll see you soon.
That's way to the right. Just need like sides or something. So I got 3 tri-tips.